Before you start listing what you want from God in 2026, you must first stop and check alignment. Many people enter a new year in a hurry, asking for money, marriage, success, open doors, but very few people pause to ask themselves, am I aligned with God's will? Alignment must come before requests. If you don't align first, you may end up succeeding in things God never sent you into. And success outside God's will is still dangerous. It may look good on the outside, but it will drain you, confuse you, and eventually break you. So the first thing people should pray for in 2026 is not things, it is direction. People need to pray that God rearranges their plans. They need to pray that God cancels what looks good but is not Him. They need to pray that God overrides personal timelines, pressure, and expectations. 2026 should not be entered with stubborn plans. It should be entered with a surrendered heart. Alignment protects you from wasted years. Alignment protects you from wrong doors. Alignment protects you from praying yourself into trouble. Some people are tired today not because life is hard, but because they are fighting to maintain a path God never approved. So in 2026, teach people to pray like this, not, Lord, bless my plans, but, Lord, correct my plans. Because when you are aligned, even delays work in your favor. When you are aligned, even closed doors become protection. When you are aligned, you don't need to rush, God orders your steps. This year should not be about forcing outcomes. It should be about walking in step with God. And once alignment is settled, everything else will begin to fall into place. After alignment, the next thing people must pray for in 2026 is spiritual alertness. Many people are not attacked because they are weak, they are attacked because they are asleep. Spiritual sleep makes a person careless. It dulls discernment, it causes people to ignore warnings, delay obedience, and normalize things that should trouble their spirit. In 2026, people must not assume that being busy means being spiritually alive. You can be active in church, active in life, active in work, and still be spiritually dull. So teach people to pray for alertness. They must pray to recognize shifts early. They must pray to sense danger before it manifests. They must pray to notice when peace lifts, when grace withdraws, when something no longer feels right. Spiritual alertness helps people detect wrong relationships before they become soul ties, wrong opportunities before they become traps, wrong habits before they become strongholds. Many problems don't start big, they start quiet, and only an alert spirit notices quiet warnings. 2026 will not favor spiritually lazy people. It will favor those who are watchful, sensitive, and disciplined. Teach people that alertness is not fear, it is wisdom. It is the ability to respond, not react. When a person is spiritually alert, they pray on time, they withdraw on time, they speak on time, they move on time. So in 2026, people should not only pray for blessings, they should pray not to miss signals. Because many times, God warns before He rescues, and only the alert hear Him. One of the biggest mistakes people make when entering a new year is confusing speed with progress. In 2026, things will move fast, opportunities will appear quickly, decisions will demand urgency, and pressure will push people to act before they think or pray. That is why people must pray for discernment, not speed. Speed without discernment leads people into relationships they should have avoided, opportunities they should have declined, and paths they were never assigned to walk. Teach people this. Not every open door is God. Not every opportunity is alignment. Not every invitation is direction. Some doors open to test wisdom, not to advance destiny. In 2026, people must learn to slow down internally, even when life is rushing externally. Discernment helps a person recognize the difference between God's timing and pressure. Pressure shouts. God leads quietly. When discernment is lacking, people say yes too quickly, commit too early, and celebrate too soon. And later, they realize they were excited about something that was slowly draining them. Discernment protects people from fake acceleration, progress that looks impressive but produces exhaustion, confusion, and regret. So teach people to pray for the ability to read between the lines, the grace to ask the right questions, the courage to say no without guilt. In 2026, moving slowly with clarity will take people further than running blindly with excitement. Because speed can impress people, but discernment preserves destiny. One thing people often forget when they pray for a new year is protection. Many people pray for progress, for open doors, growth, visibility, and success, but very few people pray to be kept while progressing. In 2026, progress without protection will be risky. When things begin to move, when prayers start to answer, when doors open and attention increases, that is when vulnerability increases as well. Advancement exposes people to pressure, envy, spiritual attacks, and burnout. So teach people that protection is not a prayer for fearful people, it is a prayer for wise people. Protection prayers should cover daily movement and travel, health and mental stability, family and relationships, work environments and private spaces. Many troubles don't announce themselves. They arrive suddenly. That is why protection must be consistent, not occasional. Teach people this truth: it is easier to stay protected than to be restored. Some people spend years praying for recovery when they could have been praying for preservation. In 2026, people should learn to pray not only against visible danger, but against unseen interference, distractions, spiritual weariness, and subtle attacks that slowly drain strength. Protection keeps people focused. Protection keeps people stable. Protection allows progress to last. Because there is no victory in rising fast if you cannot stand long. So in 2026, let people pray not just to go far, but to arrive whole. One of the most important things people must address before fully entering 2026 is patterns. Many people are not fighting new battles, they are repeating old ones. A new year does not automatically break old cycles. If patterns are not confronted, they will simply change dates and continue. So teach people to pray with honesty and awareness. They must pray about what keeps repeating. Repeated delays, repeated disappointments, repeated wrong choices, repeated seasons of starting over. Patterns reveal roots, not just problems. In 2026, people must stop praying only for relief and start praying for understanding. Because until the root is exposed, the cycle will remain. Teach people that some struggles are not random, they are familiar. They show up at the same time, in the same way, with the same outcome. And if nothing changes internally, nothing will change externally. Breaking patterns requires courage. It requires people to confront habits, mindsets, and decisions they've normalized for too long. Some people want a new year without making new choices. But 2026 will respond to awareness, not denial. So encourage people to pray for clarity about what needs to end, strength to walk away from what is familiar but harmful, wisdom to stop repeating what doesn't work. Because if patterns are not broken, progress becomes temporary. A year can change, but only a person who changes will experience lasting difference. One of the greatest dangers of a new year is movement without direction. Many people are busy, active, and trying, but they are not led. And effort without direction leads to frustration, exhaustion, and wasted time. So in 2026, people must pray for direction, not confusion. The Bible makes it clear that God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. That means when confusion dominates decisions, something is missing: clarity from God. Scripture says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." This tells us that direction is not automatic, it follows surrender. Teach people this. God does not only care about where they end up, He cares about how they get there. Many mistakes are made not because people are evil, but because they are unsure. They guess instead of waiting. They assume instead of seeking. The Bible also says, "The steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord." That means direction is step by step, not all at once. In 2026, people must pray to know when to move, when to wait, when to speak, and when to stay silent. Direction saves time. Direction saves energy. Direction prevents regret. Some people are tired today because they have been walking in circles, calling it effort. Jesus Himself said, "I only do what I see my Father doing." If the Son of God needed direction, no one is exempt. So teach people to pray not just for outcomes, but for guidance in decisions, relationships, careers, ministry, and daily choices. Because a life that is led by God does not need to rush. And a person who is directed by God may move slowly, but they will arrive safely. As you prepare for 2026, understand this: prayer is not panic, prayer is preparation. What you focus on in prayer will shape how you walk through the year. This is not the year to pray randomly. This is not the year to copy other people's prayers. This is the year to pray intentionally. Alignment will keep you in God's will. Spiritual alertness will keep you watchful. Discernment will protect you from rushing into traps. Protection will preserve what God gives you. Breaking patterns will stop repetition. Direction will keep you from confusion. The Bible reminds us that wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And in all you're getting, get understanding. That is the posture required for 2026. Do not rush the year. Do not force outcomes. Do not ignore warnings. Instead, seek clarity before speed. Seek obedience before results. Seek direction before movement, because when prayer is done right, life follows in order. As you step into 2026, let your prayer life prepare you, not just to receive, but to sustain what God releases. And remember this: a well-prayed year is easier to walk through.